Hey, people. So today I wanted to talk a bit about three things that I would do if I were starting from scratch and wanted to become a digital nomad today. And the first one is downsizing and getting rid of unnecessary stuff. And the reason I would do this first is, well, one, I think it's the most like tangible place to start. Like getting rid of things that you don't need is really can be really helpful when it comes to like bringing in some extra income, um, and being able to put that money aside towards your fund for your journey abroad. So whether that's donating stuff and getting a tax write-off from it, or just having like a huge garage sale and getting rid of it. But yeah, it can really be helpful towards your journey of preparing to move abroad and becoming nomadic. I also think it's really important because you can't take all that stuff with you, right? Like you're changing or transitioning into becoming someone who lives outside of their suitcase. And so, yeah, there's no room for all the extra stuff, all the junk, I want to call it. If it's unnecessary, it is junk, but even things that you may have found necessary or that you just things that aren't, if they're not necessary, they gotta go. If they're not essential, they gotta go. So really downgrading and being minimalistic. And this not only helps from like a financial standpoint and obviously from a logistical standpoint when it comes to packing, but I think mentally and emotionally too, like it takes you through a process of like actually releasing and letting go and learning to find the value and experiences over things. So that's the first one. The second one would be to track my spending. Now, if you're like me, you might already do a version of this. Like I know when I lived in the States, I would always like set a budget. So I had like for each category each month, I wanted to spend X amount, and the goal was to always like not go over that amount. But tracking your spending is a little bit different because it's not so much setting a budget as it is kind of like just taking data and really getting insight into what your spending habits are. Because sometimes we set a budget and like we go way over it, or like you don't go over budget, but it's like how much extra are you budgeting for that category and actually not spending. So yeah, I think tracking your spending is important because it does give you a better perspective on like your financial habits. It's also really helpful because it gives you like guidance, or it gives you, like I said, it's data, and it helps when you are thinking about where you're going to live next. So let's say, for example, you plan on moving to Colombia for your first 6 months while you are living abroad. Obviously, Colombia is a place where the cost of living is much lower than the United States, but it's really helpful to know like how much lower, because you can go to Colombia and still spend a good amount. Like if you go out there and just try to do all the things, the way that rent has increased recently with different, foreigners going there and like buying things up, it's not hard to get yourself to the point where you were spending about the same as you were in the States. So I think it's a good idea to track the different categories. Like I'm spending this much on rent, I'm spending this much on food, I'm spending this much on like fun activities. And notice, so you can notice like how that shifts when you go to Colombia or even before you go, right? Like you can use data online to see general cost for these categories and compare the two. And from there, you can already see like, okay, when I go to Colombia, I can expect this much in cost savings, right? Each month I'm saving this amount, and then it puts you in a position where you have like more control and clarity over your finances, and you can plan ahead with that. Like you already know you're saving this much money per month. So what are you going to do with it? Right? Are you saving it? Are you investing it? Like where is it going? What are you doing with it? These are important things to think about because even though the nomadic lifestyle can be, well, specifically because the nomadic lifestyle can be rocky, it's unstable, nothing is always consistent. So it's good to be thinking ahead, especially when it comes to your finances. When you do have extra money, it shouldn't just I wouldn't recommend that you just use it to go ball out, but rather put it aside because your next destination, you might need to offset cost where things are a little bit more expensive instead of like saving as much as you were before. So I would highly recommend tracking your spending. I do this with an app called Copilot Money. Um, and there are several other apps out there, so you don't have to specifically use this one, but I like it because it not only helps me to track my spending, it does allow me to also set budgets. And then it keeps track of just everything in one place. So, like, I know exactly when certain reoccurring subscriptions come out each month. Like, I know on what date and when it's going to come out. It tracks my investments, it tracks my um, debt, it tracks my net worth, and what was the other one? Did I say investments? It just tracks all the things in one place. So I think it's really helpful. It gives you a clear picture all in one place, and it is $13 a month to use. This is not a video sponsored. This video is not sponsored by Copilot Money, obviously, but if you're interested in checking it out, it's $13 a month, or I think you can pay for the year for like a annual subscription of like 90 something dollars. But if you want to try it free, I will drop my referral code down in the description box and you can try it for 2 months. If for nothing else, just to kind of track, see where you are and use that as data moving forward, or just try another app out there. But I highly recommend getting a full perspective on your finances in that way. Okay, so those were the first two things. The last thing that I would recommend, or the last thing that I would do if I were becoming a digital nomad, wanted to become a digital nomad today, would be to do a thorough skills assessment of the things that I'm good at and really work towards setting the foundation for online income. And this looks like more than just like, when I say thorough, I mean like get below the surface. So I think a lot of times we default to the things that we've always seen as our skills in either corporate or wherever we've worked at, or we just default to what everyone else defaults to, which usually for people coming from the United States is teaching English. And it's not to say that you can't use this as a source of remote income, but I think if that is your only stream of income, it's going to be really difficult because a lot of the English teaching platforms nowadays are oversaturated, and it's really, really easy to get burnt out when you're directly trading your time for money. So by sitting down and really assessing the skills that you have as a unique individual, because you definitely have some sort of skills, some set of skills that you can use to help people, you just have to sit down and really think through what it is. And when you do, you're able to specialize, you're able to charge a lot more because you are so specialized and so niche to a specific type of helping a specific type of person. And you're also able to really create more consistent, reliable income for yourself while abroad. So there is a way you can do this with teaching English, but again, it requires really assessing your skills. That's where it all begins. So if you need help with doing this, I do have a free guide. It's called Beyond the 9 to 5, the Starter Guide to Move Abroad. It is down in the description box below, so feel free to grab that. It's going to walk you through doing a thorough assessment of your skills, as well as having conversations with ChatGPT to get that clarity that you need to pinpoint what income sources would be best for you to start setting the foundation for remote income. And it'll also help you too with finding countries, destinations that align with your lifestyle and budget is all in that guide and more. So highly recommend getting that if you want some help with that. And yeah, if you're considering becoming a digital nomad this year, tell me some questions that you might have, or if there are just questions in general that you guys want to know, be sure to drop them down in the comments. I read and respond to everyone. And that's my little rant for today. Thanks so much for watching. Share this with someone who might be interested in watching it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.